Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. I am one of two commentators for tonight, Malk. Normally, Tim is normally with me as the co-commentator, as you always on the Thursday nights, but unfortunately he cannot make it due to personal reasons. So I've got another special guest with me as always. He does the F2 commentary stuff and also races in the F1 League, and he's doing a cracker of a job as always. So big welcome, shall we say, to Harry. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Hi mate, I'm very excited. I think this is one of the most exciting leagues I think we really hold at Invictus, and I'm quite lucky. I think I was had a bit of a grin on my face when I realised that it was a reverse grid tonight. So I think they're already an action-packed league, but I think with the added flip of reverse grids for this season, I think I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it should be a classic here tonight, to be fair. It should be a grand old track here, so to say, and it's one of those famous tracks that's been there for many seasons as well, not only at Invictus but also in the past as well, and just have to wait and see what happens as well. But from your point of view, what's your thoughts of China itself here, mate, from your point of view?
Well, it's a very difficult track or lap to nail. I think a lot of these guys will be quite pleased that they don't have to do qualifying a lap round it, because it is very tricky, and particularly some of the traction zones out of the first sector. We know the first couple of long corners, that long right hander into the quite sharp left hander. Of course, they're coming through the banks turn of 13 as well. If you can really be a bit heavy footed, we've seen quite a few drivers already making that mistake this week. But that's a very crucial corner, because also it goes onto the back straight down the DRS, and I think DRS is one of the few tracks in this game which I actually quite like the DRS round here, because if you're following someone who's roughly the same pace as you on roughly about the same tyres, it's quite nicely balanced, because it doesn't get you an easy overtake, but it gets you alongside where you have to be a little bit brave to force an overtake. So it gives both the defending and attacking car a chance. I think it can be a little bit overpowered sometimes on this game, and I think it's a track that, because of the long straight and because of the tight corners in the first sector, we do quite often get some quite good battling around here. So I'm hopeful that we'll have an entertaining one tonight.
I hope so, because it's one of those, with all the DRS and everything like that, you've got to be on the ball, especially when you're at the last third sector with that long straight. You feel like it's just like a twilight zone, isn't it? Like you can't get away from it all, and you just can't get away with it from the straights as well. But from your point of view in here tonight, and I know you've been watching the last few races except for last week obviously, but you've watched the first two races, and from the Performance League itself, obviously we've got some new drivers replaced. Obviously we've got Charlie and Samu, who have unfortunately left the league. We've got Mike and Vienna who have joined in as well. So from your experience of driving as well as commentating in Invictus, who's your drivers that we probably need to watch tonight here?
Well, I think obviously straight away the obvious one's Cliffy. I think he has been sort of the stand-up driver so far. He's obviously leading the drivers' championship, and obviously F1 as well. He even won this race come Monday night. So he's clearly very favourable around here, and I think he'll be very strong here tonight. I think obviously Nightshade has had a very good season. A couple of podiums in the opening few rounds. Weather could throw in a little bit of a spanner in the works for some of these guys, but I think Scopefield is a very solid driver in F1. Scott, I know very well. He's been pretty consistent. But I'm quite looking forward to the likes of Vienna as well. I've not even raced against him once, in fact. I've done a qualifying session against him, and I can tell you he's very quick. So I think he's starting right at the back of the grid, or at least second to last. So he could be on for a difficult evening. But I think he could be a real one to keep an eye out for, because I think he really could give us a lot of excitement tonight.
Ooh, it just feels the spiciness of the Performance League here, and I cannot wait for it as well with Vienna. Let's see if the predictions here could happen here from Vienna's point of view, to see if he can try and get through the grid at that point of view there, but also can Cliffy keep that momentum going through at the top of the league as well. If you just joined, ladies and gentlemen, this is the reversed grid scenario. There will be no qualifying. We're going straight to the race, and also we've got a start of a wet race. But from the clouds that we're seeing here, I don't think the clouds are going to go at any point here. From your point here, Harry.
Well, yeah, it's very weird, this game, isn't it? It's much like last year. It seems like on this game, it feels like it's like this, and then it can go from this sort of weather in 3-4 laps to sort of bone dry, you're onto slicks very quickly. It's sort of, it just seems to be a turning point in the game. When it does turn on a knife edge. So it will have to keep an eye on it. We'll see if we get any weather updates from any of the drivers. I'm sure they're racking their brains thinking of, have they saved a wet setup, or are they looking at the weather forecast thinking of, hoping that it's going to go to dry, or who knows, it might even get even heavier. I'd imagine looking at it, most of these guys are going to be starting on intermediates, if not all of them. But I'm sure if you're one of the guys starting right near the front, like the likes of Matty, for example, I know Sab starting near the front, you're probably not going to want this wet weather because it is going to throw another sort of dimension to the game tonight. But at the same time, at least you haven't got to worry about DRS. So there's if you're comfortable in the rain, then I think it's really out there for you to go and grab something tonight.
Absolutely. Good evening to Barca. How you doing, mate? And he's saying, for the weather crew, aka Barca, who's just joined in to do the commentary for the weather scenario here, rain will not last the whole race. That is a bit of a shock, but I wonder if it's going to be exactly the same as what happened in the F4 series last night on the Wednesday night for the F4 League as well. But it would be cracker to see what happens here from wet to dry situation as well, and it was a cracker, to be fair. And we got a comment as well from the main Invictus Racing League. It says, good evening, who are we tipping to master the rain? That is very, very tough here, because it's considering where everyone is, and with the tyre wear with the car situation as well. Cryptox did well last night. Obviously, Sab and Nitro need to try and push on from the F4 side here, but if Cliffy can try and push on, I wouldn't be surprised if Cliffy can get into the top off, and also Scope as well from their point of view here. Harry?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the likes of Nitro Gas as well. I think in the Prix starting P2, I think he'll be fancying his chances tonight. Commentated on Nitro Gas and Cryptox, in fact, actually last season, these two, and I know they've definitely got a lot of pace between them, so I'm sure they'll be looking to go forward. I'm sure Sab will be looking for a bit of a change in fortune. He's in the Mercedes tonight. I was starting on the second row, I'm sure he'll really be looking forward to. But as you say, I think they were quite rightly so. I think the attention will be on Scope and Cliffy. Obviously, these two guys, they're in the Williams, so their job is kind of made sort of a damage limitation for them, and I'm sure they'd be probably a little bit happier that this wet weather could sort of balance or neutralise the sort of car performance out a little bit. Obviously, in the wet weather, you can sort of be a little bit more dependent on drivability than your own personal car. But of course, a mistake can come from anywhere, and like I said, particularly this banked 13s are coming round now on the formation lap. I wouldn't be surprised if we even have a spin on the opening few laps, because that is a corner very hard for traction in the dry. In the rain, these guys are going to have it really, really tough. And but I'm pleased that it's scheduled to dry up, because it does hopefully give us a little bit of almost two races in one, where the wet weather for maybe the first half, but then we'll have a completely different ball game hopefully in the second half when it dries up.
Absolutely stuff here. Obviously, we'll try to do the side here of the Invictus Performance League live and exclusive on the YouTube channel here with myself, Malk, and with Harry, special guest just for a temporary one here tonight. I'm sure he'll be absolutely loving it here for a temporary one-off here special here. Normally what I do with Tim here is let him do the starting upgrade, so I'll let you do the honours here, Harry, to do the starting upgrade.
Thank you, Mark. And of course, I've got a few cards there already on the grid. Looks like it might have just had a little bit of a too eager formation lap for a couple of these guys. Obviously, Jim Naguma, Mike, Colin, and Aaron's don't have that extra lap, albeit a slow one, to really try and learn the circuit and get a feel for the wet weather conditions out there around Shanghai this evening. But of course, they're all going to be well underway very, very shortly. It will be NYA Matty to off pole position. And we'll have to see what the two Ferraris behind him can do. 5 red lights, and out they go. Who can get the best traction? I'm sure it'll be short shifting like mad, lifting and rising the throttle. Oh, it's a little squirm from the Renault driver. The Ferrari's going to go side by side. Can Nightshade's natural gas go down the inside? A little bit of contact. One of the Ferraris has run wide already. I think we've got Sab making an error further back. Nightshade has got the inside line on the Renault. So further back we've got O'Stephen, and look at that Scopefielder already up into a podium position. Matty just squirming it out of turns 3 and 4. Is held on to the lead. We've got a Ferrari dropping back a couple of positions. I think Scott's made up a position on Cliffy. Sab's dropped back to ninth. There's now Scope going up into second already. I think from P5 into P2 in about 6 corners. A great start for the Williams driver.
Absolutely fantastic start there from Schofield. There were so many battles galore there, as you rightly said. I mean, Sab and looked like Cryptox looked like they were going a little bit wider at turn 1 there, but they have to try and everything they can now. It looks like Cryptox is trying to bounce back here against O'Stephen here for 4th place here. Oh my days, Colin EY2141 has moved up to 12th place here. Nightshades drops down to 13th place here. Moreno moves up to 10th. Prime drops down to 11th place here as well. So action-packed here on lap 1 here. And will Cryptox has had a quick glance there, and looks like O'Stephen thought he's trying to make the move here on nitric gas already on lap 1 here. But we'll have to wait and see from the straight line speed here. It looks like Cryptox, he tried to do what he did yesterday there, through the inside line there, and trying to make the move as quickly as possible here. But who are you watching so far here, Harry?
Well, I'm keeping an eye on the second Williams of Cliffy. He's doing a standard job. He's kept hold of 7th place. He's just looking at the back of the Haas of Scott Bugner. I think that's pure racecraft that you'd expect from an ex-champion in Scopefielders. I'm also watching Prime, having a little look at Sab round the outside of turn 15 at the hairpin, but it's just been forced a little bit wide. That's allowed Colin to have a little sneak down the outside into the last corner. It's been a relatively clean opening first lappers. Good move there from Colin around the outside. Always got to be careful. Oh, a lot of squirms going on. I think the two McLarens into the pit lane, so I assume they have damage. I was going to say, other than that, it looks like a fairly well-behaved first lap from these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. But it looks like Prime is trying to make the move here as quickly as possible on the Red Bull car, as much as possible here. But they're trying to do everything they can here. But I tell you what, it's just been an action-packed few laps. The second lap here already here at the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League, live exclusive on the YouTube channel here with myself, Malk, and Harry here as well. But I tell you what, this is what I love about the Performance League. You just never know what to expect back, and especially with the performance type cars here as well. Obviously with the fastest of the Mercedes, and then also the slowest from the Williams there as well. But Scope, Matty trying to do everything he can here to try and push on as much as possible here. But fair play to Scope here, Harry. He's done a crack of a job here in 3rd place here at the moment here.
He has, and what he's doing quite crucially, he's keeping up with the Renault just about in his wet weather conditions, and what's helping him even more is nitro gas is perhaps just struggling just that little bit more in these wet conditions at the moment. He's pulled a 1.3 second gap on the Ferrari driver, and O'Stephen is looking like he's just being held up a little bit by nitro gas. I think he's just using a little bit of battery down this back straight into the hairpin, but I'm sure Scope will be very, very pleased with his performance so far. Early on into the race, I'm sure he'll know that it could well dry up very soon. There's a little bit of a square from O'Stephen out the exit of the second to last corner. But Nightshades, he's doing what he needs to do. He knows if he just doesn't make a mistake, he hasn't got DRS to worry about. If he can just keep it nice and clean, get his exits right, particularly out of turns 13 onto that back straight, he can very much hold on to this birthplace until the rain clears up. Absolutely,
but there's about 3. I thought there was a 3-car battle there at one point there, but we've got 2 wide here at we've got Aaron J. Spence, and also might be Vienna, I believe, or that might be Nightshade. Sorry, I do apologise. You can tell there's so much action galore, left, right, and centre. You just can't keep your eyes off it at all. And at the Chinese Grand Prix here, in the wet conditions here, everyone's pretty much struggling, but as you said earlier here, Harry, we're going to see like 2 lots of races. Oh my days, who's that? That is Roy Boy and Prime. Prime, who broke a little bit earlier, and Roy Boy had to brake sharply, which has brought Vienna trying to brake sharp as quickly as possible here, Harry.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch that on Melk, but no, it's been a very good start for Vienna. He's up 5 positions. I'm just watching further forward as Cryptox is looking very impatient on O'Stephen. Now, O'Stephen, after an initial good couple of laps, has just had a little bit of a shaky lap. He's now dropped a couple 1.1 seconds off the back of nitro gas and is coming under pressure from the second Ferrari to come onto the back straight now. So we'll see what his traction's been like. He's been squirming a little bit out of some of these corners. I think he's got a much better exit as well. But Cliffy also looking pretty sharpish on the back of Scott. Scott can't quite seem to get the straight line speed down this back straight, and I don't think anyone was. Cliffy gets very close to the back of Scott Bugner there into turns 14. But another square from Stephen. I think Stephen might even be struggling with overheating his rear tyres at this point because Cryptox is almost pushing him around now.
He is, but watch out for Cryptox. He won last night. You got to be careful. He's got to be trying to be absolutely patient here. But also, here's a question for you, actually, Harry. Do you reckon that there'll be a safety car for all the guys that are watching the stream? Do you think there'll be a guaranteed safety car here tonight?
Well, judging where the two McLaren drivers are, I'm sure they'll be certainly hoping for one. I'd say they've all done very well to go 4 laps in the rain without any incidents really, other than the two McLarens. I'd say it's quite likely around this circuit. Like I said, it's very easy to make a mistake and cause a bit of a bottleneck crash situation because you can drop it so easily out of some of these corners. I think when these guys, when it comes to the sort of crunch point where these inters maybe begin to wear, maybe begin to overheat, when the track begins to start drying up, I think we could see a couple of mistakes coming, and then, yeah, we could very well see a safety car, I think.
Absolutely, but we're just going to go back to the top 2 here because Schofield was about 5 tenths on Matthew. Matthew's doing a brilliant job holding on in that Renault car here. And while these two are pulling away from the pack here as well, it looks like Nitrogas is slowly trying to catch up to these guys here as well. Roy Boyd moves into 12th. Colin EY has dropped down to 14th now, so something must happen from his point of view. Not sure exactly what happened there, but from last night we had, obviously we had the one safety car here, but it's going to be tough. It just depends on how everyone can try and keep it on track here. And I'll tell you what, you got yellow flags. That is Cliffy.
I think that's Cliffy.
I can't say the words. Cliffy, the Drivers' Championship leader, looks like he has spun at just before the DRS straight here. So he had a great start of the race here, but now he has to try and push on now from 17th place here, Harry.
Yeah, exactly what he didn't want. He was going pretty nicely. I mean, I'm sure he'd be a little bit frustrated about the progress that he saw from Schofield. And riding on board with some of these guys, Malcolm, I think it's stopped raining already. And I think you're beginning to get to the point where the track's more greasy than necessarily wet. I think the dry tyres, or the switch to dry tyres, could come a lot sooner than the halfway point. I wouldn't even be surprised to see it going in the next 3-4 laps, to be honest. I think Sab is just struggling a little bit in these sort of wet, greasy positions. I've just seen Prime just try and move on him into the hairpin, and he's defended from it well, and is defending for his life with his first few corners. He's really struggling for grip out there, and Prime lost out to Roy Boy in the AlphaTauri, who's now going to try and look around the outside of Sab into turn 6. It's going to be a difficult move to make. Sab just squeezed into the outside line. They're going to rub wheels a little bit. Sab defends his line as Roy Boy gets all out of shape. He's going to give Prime a second chance going up the hill into turn 7 and 8. It's going to be a great move to go on the outside. I think he's just going to back out of it. But this is great battling from these guys. Great battling.
This is absolutely fantastic battle here. Oh my days, Roy Boy trying to be absolutely eager to try and get past Sab here. He's trying to make the move now. Oh, this is unbelievable stuff there. Two wide there. 2 wide situation here at just before the DRS straight here. At the end of the second sector there was a 2 wide there as well from the Haas car and also from the Racing Point driver there. That was from Vienna. Vienna, who you said, there'll be a spun there from which is from Sab there, who lost the back end there as well. So Sab could lose out here massively here to a few more drivers here, and we could have, oh my days, Sab's trying to get closer onto Vienna here. I bet they wish they want to have the DRS straight here as quickly as possible here. But as you were saying earlier here, Harry, with the tyre wear situations, I reckon you might be right here. By lap 9-10, oh my days, Sab with losing the back end of that car there as quickly as possible, so you're going to have to be careful there. But look at Scott here, closing in on Moreno. But regarding the tyre wear situation, I reckon by lap 9-10, that's where the hards can kick in here. And Sab is out. What's happened?
He's just lost it on the exit at the last corner. I was literally about to say he just needs to try and keep a cool head. It was so clear his rear tyres in particular of his intermediates was just overheating so much. You could see him coming out of all the corners. It was just absolutely had no chance, no traction at all. I haven't got any notification saying it's a safety car. I think it might just be maybe a VSC. Oh, it is a safety car.
Yeah, I could see. Well, it's not popped up on me here, but I could see from the screens on the left-hand side where it's all yellow all around the track here. So guaranteed to be the safety car. But I think it's actually, I'll just clarify.
It might be a VSC.
It might be a VSC. We do apologise for any technical issues here from our screens here. It looks like, from our point of view, it looked like it was a safety car because it looked like it was a massive... we didn't see the crash there from Sab there, but it was... Sab was definitely out of the race here tonight. But we'll get that clarified in a moment too, but it looks like...
it's a very long VSC if it is a VSC. DOS is now enabled. It's a green flag, so I think it is a VSC. I think we're all back to racing, and I think the two McLarens and Nightshades, in fact, have called a little bit of a master stroke there. They've got a lot of time to make up, the two McLarens, but what they've done is they've pitted for the dry tyres under the VSC, so they've got a bit of a cheap pit stop. But I expect to see almost everybody. Well, I expect to see everybody into the pit lane. There's Scopes clearly gained a little bit of time onto his VSC, who's almost right onto the rear wing of the Renault. It's going to be a pit stop battle for the lead between Renault and Williams, because these guys are both going to be coming in. It's going to be a little bit of a difficult choice to go in terms of tyres. If you're pretty good on your tyres, you should be able to go hard to the end at this point. But those guys who are in maybe the worst cars, like Scope, for example, in the Williams, I know Scott in particular was telling me how much he struggled with tyre wear in the Haas. This is going to be quite a decision for them, because if they're going to go on those hard tyres and stay committed, they could be quite vulnerable at the end, as it looks like Matty will hold on to the net lead there.
Absolutely, but the person that's still out here and is not pitted at that point there is also, two drivers actually, Cryptox and Mike. They're the two drivers who are still on the intermediate tyres here, so this could cost them massively here. And Scope, who's battling out here against Mike here on this up to the end of the first sector here, and will Scope try and make the move? Too wide situation, and he makes the move perfectly there from Scope, the Drivers' Championship runner-up from last season here. I tell you what, are you enjoying it so far here, Harry?
I'm very much enjoying it. I think we've got a real race in our hands now. Good move from Scope. He knows what he has to do, and he knows if he's got his mini-map up, or if he was aware of the mistake from Cliffy, then he knows this is a good opportunity for him to really gain some points, because he's been a very solid second place, and he can put his eyes forward at the moment because he's very safe from the drivers behind. He's got Mike behind him on the intermediates. I've got to say, I think it's a mistake from Cryptox and Mike to stay out. They might have been doing it in fairness to them, because they've seen their teammates gone in, and they don't want to lose the time in the pit stop. But I think they could be losing more time now out on track than they could have been in the pit, into the pits. I've noticed a few drivers going up mediums. Most of the drivers out on hards. Those guys I'd expect to see them go into the end, but those guys on mediums, or Scott Buckner, Barca, Roy Boy, and Vienna, they could be opting for another pit stop just yet, unless they're going to absolutely have to massage those tyres if they want to get them to the end.
Scott's trying to make the move on the inside there, and Stephen. Oh my days, what happened there? There was a bit of contact there between, it looks like there was quite a few drivers who were all tangled at the hairpin there. I couldn't catch it, all of it there. I don't know, did you see that, Harry?
I got a brief glimpse of it, yeah. I think they was all just completely queuing, wasn't they, to try and get past. I think it was Mike or Cryptox, and it's committed a real bottleneck, and I've seen someone's front wing come off, and I'm seeing Stephen going around turn 1 now, and he's minus his front left end plate, which I can tell you on a new set of hard tyres on a pretty cold track around China. He's going to be on for a pretty long and horrible stint now in the Mercedes. It's got a lot of downforce, that car, but minus that front wing end plate, he's going to be in for a bit of a horror show. And I think it could be now a job of, if he doesn't want to pit, he's going to have to do a real job of just trying to stick in the DRS of Moreno and try and defend from the cars behind, because he can be minus a lot of lap time now.
Absolutely, as well. But also, for the drivers who are gambled on the mediums, obviously the mediums can only last about 17 laps, I would say, 17 laps, I would roughly say, but I think they're gambling for the pit stop for another safety car here, and then it looks like Scott Buckner's trying to make the move here against Nigel Gash here for the move. Perfect move there from Scott Buckner as well. But what's your thoughts about that? Do you think they are gambling to hope that they would have another safety car here?
There could well be. I think it's definitely an aggressive strategy. I think you can see much more grip. Scott, originally I thought that might have been a mistake making the move into turn 11 because the DRS detection zone is actually just on the apex of turn 12. But you can see how much more traction he's got going onto that back straight into turn 13. He's completely driven away from Nitric Acid, who's even in that Ferrari can't get anywhere near with DRS. He's got another yellow flag. I think that might be Colin. I think he might have just lost it next at turn 13 in the Red Bull. He's now minus his front wing, so there's going to be another pit stop for him. I don't think it's going to be a safety car or anything. He should be alright to get back going nice and back into the pits. But turn 13 is going to catch up more drivers, yeah, I expect.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we have to wait and see what happens here from everyone's point of view. We're on lap 9 of 28 of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. Live exclusive on the YouTube channel on the Chinese Grand Prix as well. And it's always a classic here as well. So many overtakes galore and so many battles that we can never ever forget as well. But also, if you're watching it live exclusive and you want to see more Invictus, why don't you check out the InvictusRacingLeague.com, and also for all the other social media sites of Facebook, Twitter, and also Instagram as well. So make sure you follow and subscribe as well. Give you more info as the race goes on here. But we also had another driver who has had a DNF, which is Colin EY2141. So he's having a torrid day as well here, Harry.
Yeah, he's not having a good night. Sadly, him and Sab now both are first retirements, and I think I also saw Aaron's picking up a drive-through penalty in a racing point for speeding under virtual safety car. So he's going to have a bit of a recovery drive on his hands now. I'm just watching Moreno in the Renault, who's right in the DRS, right behind, tucked nicely behind the Alfa Romeo. Barca. It's going to have to be late on the brakes. It's going to dart to the inside. The Alfa Romeo half covered. It's just about got it slowed down, but the Alfa on the medium tyres should have the better traction. But the Renault is just driving away, and he's going to have the outside line for the last corner. And the Alfa Romeo just tucks in, I think, wisely so. And good move there from the Renault driver, and he's held on to the 5th position. And but interestingly now, Scopefield looks like he's just about within touching distance of the DRS zone of Matty. And Scott, if he wants to make this two-stop work or get the most out of these mediums, he's going to have to start trying to crawl in his top 2 as well.
Absolutely, and now Aaron J. Spence in 1992 as DNF'd as well. So we've got another virtual safety car as well. So I'm not sure exactly what happened from his point of view there as well, but it's just they're trying to push on here as much as possible at the Chinese Grand Prix. But obviously concentration levels have to be rocketed sky high. But obviously even more if he was driving around Monaco or anything close encounter, shall we say. But from this point of view at the Chinese Grand Prix, you have to try and get that momentum going, especially in the second and third sector as well. From that point of view as well, from lap 10 of 28, I think we're going to have an action-packed finale. From the way it looks from all the drivers here, especially with the drivers who gambled on the mediums. I don't know if that was a mistake or they really did actually gamble and hoped that there'll be another safety car galore here, but it's just too much, I think, unless something drastically happens here as well.
Well, I'm looking, Malcolm, obviously you've got yellow flag, and of course it would be very helpful, Codemasters, if we could actually have information of if it was a VSC or a safety car. I think we might actually, I'm looking at the mini-map now and I'm seeing drivers darting into pit. I think we have got a full course safety car because I'm seeing a yellow dot on the exit of about turn 4 and 5, which is exactly where the safety car should be. So I think this is a full course safety car, which explains why Matty's come into the pit lane.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a bizarre call, I think, this from Matty. I don't think this is a good call. We're going on to a new set of mediums. They should get to the end. He's quite right, but I think he's going to lose a lot of track position here. There's a real queue of cars that are going to be pouring past him now. He's going to have to overtake them all back. And he's only on 3-lap old hard tyres, so they should have been pretty good to go on to the end. So I'm a little bit surprised by that call. It's given Scopefield the lead. And I think we've also seen Scott come into the pit for a new set of hard tyres. So these guys, Vienna also into the pit. So a lot of these guys who are on the medium tyres have opted now thinking they've played their cars down onto the desk saying, okay, now is the safety car that I've been wanting. I'm going to go onto the hard tyres and fancy the chances from here. But time will tell, I suppose, if that was the right choice for Matty. I think he could be in for He might live to regret that decision. Yeah.
I do agree, but it all depends on obviously drivers' ability of the car and the tyre wear management. Like I say with Matty, he has driven well, and from his point of view, I'm sure he would have kept his tyres a little bit longer, not as much, but I would say it's going to be right on the limiter here as well, because obviously the mediums can only last about 17 laps overall. The softs are no good around here. They're absolutely useless. Even if you started them on the qualify, if there was a qualifier and you started on them as well, they would have been absolutely useless as well. From his point of view here, Matt, and I'm surprised also Barca's still out on the medium tyres, which I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know if he's just trying to gamble and hope that with the safety car, trying to keep those tyres as minimal, like low heat as much as possible before and gambled on the guys who are on the hard tyres ahead. Obviously with Moreno, Nitrogash and Scope in the top three at the moment here, Harry. What's your thoughts about that with Barca?
Well, I think it's a brave call. I mean, obviously, surely I think in his head that he's going to find a way to get these mediums to the end. The safety car will definitely help him, and the VSCs before it is going to have helped him look after these medium tyres that little bit better. Either way, if he is going to the end without pitting again, or if he is planning on pitting again, either way he's going to have to try and make the moves on early. He's going to have better tyres than the cars in front of him on this safety car restart. So regardless of what his strategy is, I think it'd probably be best for him to move forward. One driver the safety car certainly helpful is Cliffy, our championship leader. He's moved back up into 7th, which is where he was before he had that spin, if you remember. So he's the call to go onto the hard tyres and to stay out on this safety car has got him back into the position where he was, and I'm sure he'll be hoping that he doesn't sort of make the same mistake again and he can sort of move forward. It'll be interesting to see where Scott and Vienna are. They're 10th and 11th on a new set of hards. Only Matty ahead of them are on better tyres, so they've got probably the best tyres in the field other than Matty. Both of them are very quick drivers. I expect to see them fight their way through, and I think they could both push really for top 6 position yet still.
Ooh. This is what I love about the Performance League. You just, with so many good drivers, obviously in the slower cars, and competing against the other drivers who are from the other leagues as well, and it's good to see so many battles galore as well, and it's absolutely fantastic stuff as well. So while the safety car is still intact, and it looks like we might have the safety car in, we'll just do a quick promotion here. So obviously Invictus Racing League, live exclusive on the YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe as well on the video and also on the channels for all the live races here. Not only we're on live exclusive on the Thursday nights for the Performance League, we have got the F1 League with Gareth and Sab on the F1 League on Monday nights at 8 PM. Tuesday nights, Harry, who's joined me tonight temporarily for this race, with I can't remember now. Who's you with now? Sorry, Harry. With F2 as well.
I think that'd be either Scott or Sab moving forward.
Okay, cool. So Scott or Sab joining for the F2 as well. So they're all going to come in now. So the safety car's going to come in this lap here. So let's just see how Scope can try and push on here as well. And we also got the F3 and F4 League live exclusive on the Wednesday nights as well. But make sure you tune in on that. We'll talk to you more about the Xbox and PC leagues in a moment or two. But we're about to kick off for the race here. For lap 12 of 28 here. We're coming up to lap 13 here. Will Scope try and push on here now? And
he's going to play it late.
He's going to play it absolutely late here. And we're about to kick off here now. I was gobsmacked more than you was there, Harry, with that.
Oh, there's an absolute queue of cars. It was almost like a NASCAR restart at the beginning there, but it looks like Moreno's already fired up and got his hards in the absolute perfect window because he's moved straight up into 2nd place with no drive. Fantastic move for him. Barca is trying to have a go wheel to wheel with the Ferrari driver, and he's going to go around the outside of turn 5. It's going to give him the inside for turn 6, so he should have this move done on the cars. We're also seeing Prime and Cryptox. Cryptox going to switch back to the inside. Meanwhile, the Alfa Romeo and Ferrari are still side by side on the exit. I think that Barca's just got the move done. I think Prime is just going to hold on to P5 as well. But great racing. I think Scott and Vienna have already moved up a position.
Absolutely. I'm just watching it back here between Nitrogas and Barca. That goes side by side here with 2 wide. 2 wide here, an absolute belter. Brilliant move then from Barca on Absolutely unbelievable stuff there. But Moreno's trying to close in on Scope here for first place here. And I'll tell you what, this is what I love about the Performance League. You just never know what to expect back here as well. Obviously the DRS will kick in about 2 to 3 more laps after the safety car here as well. But with Nitrogas trying to push on here on Moreno here, on Barca here. I'm losing the plot here as well. But Moreno's back up to first here. He'll back up to the first place here. And looks like Prime has passed Nitrogas here for 4th place. Oh, they've got 2 wide. They could have 3 wide here. Oh my days. Oh my days. And Nitro just made the move back up to 4th. Unbelievable stuff there, Harry.
This is brilliant action. The two Ferraris really in the thick of it, and Prime is looking so racy since the safety car restart. Cliffy's looking pretty handy in 7th, but I mean he can't even begin to think of where move's going to come from because he's watching these guys fighting in front of him as that Ferrari bangs wheels with Prime, and that's giving Cliffy the chance he's been looking for. He's going to have the outside line for turn 4. The Ferrari's going to try and run him wide. I think Cliffy might just have... Oh, he's had a little squirm and he's gone into the gravel. He's going to come back across the track. He's just about tagged the wall. He should be right. Another spin for the championship lead. He's going to get the car. I think he's just about, his front wing looks okay, but he's going to be hoping for another safety car, another spin for Cliffy. It's been a night to forget so far for him, but a chaotic safety car restart to say the least. There's still Prime is battling with a Ferrari.
Absolutely. I tell you what, you've just joined it at the right time here, Harry, to watch out these so many frantic battles galore here as well. Obviously Cliffy, who's had a great start to the race, and then he dropped himself back down. Then the safety car brought himself back up to sixth place here. And Cryptox and Prime battling out here, side by side here. And Cryptox, who kept that momentous battle galore here, made the move here onto Prime here for 5th place here. But as I was saying here, Harry, Cliffy does not need, he cannot afford another mistake here, because he will lose out massively to Moreno here on the point situation here for the Drivers' Championship.
Well, yeah, Moreno's flying right now. It's broken 1.4 seconds on Scopefield, and we know how good Scopefield. In fact, Scopefield is going to come under a bit of pressure from Barca very, very shortly. And in fact, fast enough the race. And there's Prime. I was about to say, it looked like a very good move from Cryptox in the Ferrari, and indeed it was. It looked almost suspiciously too good, because when the racing pot came down the back straight, it was minus the front wing end plate on that right-hand side, and with the hard tyres, that's a pretty horrible combo, and he's decided it's almost too bad. It's 2 Haas cars going to go side by side. Scott sling it down the inside into turn 2. There's a little bit of bumping into turn 3 and 4. They're still side by side, the 2 Haas drivers fighting for 7th and 8th. These guys are really, really good drivers. Vienna's held on to it. They're both number 24, I've just noticed as well. It's a little bit confusing. Scott's going to look to the outside. Vienna should have it covered. He's got to be careful as Matty almost running into back with them. A great battle between those two. But it's crucial now for Scope. If we can just hold on to 2nd place for the moment, Barca's going to be very, very quick for the next maybe 4, 5, 6 laps on those medium tyres. But Scopefielder's tyres will come back to him, and he should be able to hold on to 2nd place. But what he can't do is allow Barca to get through and try and extend the gap over him.
Absolutely, but I'm still watching this battle between the 2 Haas cars. Double trouble. I was about to interrupt you there. And we've got another driver that's 24 on the Ferrari. So we've got 3 24s as the driver numbers there. It's just, as you rightly said, it's absolutely confusing as well. Obviously, 2 different teams here, but obviously from the same team, 24 there. Double trouble. 24, 48. Unbelievable stuff here.
Flying past Scopefielder into the hairpin. So the Williams, as we know in real life, is an incredibly draggy car, and I've got to feel a little bit sorry for Scopefielder here, because he's got absolutely mugged down that back straight for the 2nd time in a row, and just since the safety car restart, we saw Moreno fly past him for the lead, and absolutely no defence for Scope. He didn't have DRS, and he's really struggling with that Williams now. I'm not sure if he's running a high aero setup, but he's got no straight line speed at all, and he could be a real threat of dropping more positions if he falls into the clutches of Nightshades and Cryptox. So he's got to be careful. Despite as good a job he's done in the wet weather, the dry conditions is showing that Williams up quite harshly. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's a very tough situation here as well from his point of view, because obviously he deserves to do well here, especially in that Williams car as well, because he had, if I remember it right, from the drive standings as well, he's only had 1 podium this season here, Scopefield. He's only had that from the first race of the season back in the France Grand Prix, or the French Grand Prix, shall we say. But to get another podium here for Scope will be a massive, massive boost here. And also, he's beating Nightshades and Cliffy. Obviously, the other driver that he still needs to beat is Moreno, who's done an absolutely fantastic drive since the second restart of the safety car here, Harry.
He really has that. I'm just watching the two Ferraris now, as well as Cryptox looking a little bit impatient behind his teammate of Nitro Shades. They've managed to drop Nitro Gas. Night Shades is the car behind who they've just about managed to drop. Cryptox not going for the move on Nitro on this occasion. He looked very close on turn 13. I think he got on the overtake button just a few metres too early, because it looked like it would be an easy pass for him, but he got a little bit excited on it and just lost the traction a little bit. As Scott's got to be careful, because while he's lining up a move on Vienna, Roy Boy in his own right is lining up a move on Scott, and this little train of cars is really giving us some great action down in P7, and Vienna's just holding into the DRS quite nicely at Nightshades, which is helping him defend from Scott. So the two Hasses and the two AlphaTauri cars sort of really locking horns here, and it'll be interesting as well to see what can Scope do, as he's just about holding in DRS range of Barca, so he could be on for another move. But if Cryptox, he's going to be looking to get past his teammate pretty soon. It looks like he's a little bit more comfortable at this stage of the race, and I'm sure he can do some damage to Scopefield if he gets a chance.
Oh yeah, don't write up Cryptox, mate. Do not write up Cryptox. He was in pretty much this stage last night in the F4 League, and this is where he pounced after the rain kicked in. He was past the 4th place, then he went straight to 3rd. I wouldn't be surprised once he gets past Nitro. So I'm just going to keep watching this battle here for this moment here, but also watching behind there between Nightshades, Vienna, Scott Buckner and Roy Boy as well. So don't go anywhere, guys. If you like what you see so far, guys, please make sure you like and subscribe to the Invictus Racing League channel for all the live races here as well. And here we go, Karen Cryptox should have the DRS. He needs to try and push on there. It looks like Nitro is out with that overtake, but I need as much as possible here as well. But I tell you what here, Harry, what does Cryptox need to do to get past Nitrogash?
Well, it's just got to really just try and get the traction down just that little bit nicer. It's all just cut to the curve on the last corner there, 16, which on another day he could have been around for that. But I'm just looking at it now. He's only got, well, in fact, he's got 0% ERS. He's got absolutely no battery, so I think he's going to have to stay patient for now. He's going to have to try and look at saving that for a couple of laps. Just try not to use it. Just stay in the DRS range and not use it. Scott's looking as close as ever to the back of Vienna. I've also just watched Cliffy make a move on Mike. Obviously, he's got to keep his head up, or his chin up, I should say, Cliffy. He's made a couple of mistakes. It's not been a race he would have wanted. And, of course, get points for all positions in realistic. So you've got to keep fighting for every position. He's made a good move on Mike. He lines up the move down the straight, DRS. He looked like an easy one. He's still got plenty of positions that he can gain. He's got all the pace in the world despite being in a Williams. So he's just got to keep his head down. And Cryptox, I look at his battery level now, still only on 13%. Nitro Gas, nearly 60% charge. So Nitro has been really, really kind with his battery, not been draining it. And that's why it's being able to hold on to this position. And he's reeling in Scopefielder. So Scope, after an absolutely stunning drive in the first half of this race, is now suddenly on the back foot.
Absolutely, but I was just watching, while you was watching the battle there, the Ferraris there, I was watching the battle there of the two Haas cars there still, but let's go back to the Ferrari here now. Let's see if Cryptox, could we see 2 wide here? Could we see maybe 3? Oh, it looked like it was close there between Scope, Nitrogash, and now Cryptox, who's coming into play here for the last podium position there. I'll tell you what, I have absolutely loved this race from start to finish here. We're on lap 19 of 28 of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League, live exclusive on the Chinese Grand Prix here for round 4. I can't believe we're at round 4 here of the reverse grid. There was no qualifying, we went straight to the race from the reverse grid of the results from round 3 of the Dutch Grand Prix here as well. But so many battles galore here. And you watched it so far here, Harry. Who's impressed you the most throughout that battles here tonight?
Well, I think Scope deserves a real shout out. I mean, in this dry condition, we're really seeing how poor the Williams has been. I think Cliffy as well. We know how good of a driver Cliffy is. Like I said, he won here on Monday night. He's really struggling in the Williams. So I think Scopefield has probably been a real standout driver. I think Moreno's come alive in these dry conditions, and since the safety car restart, he's been the man of the field right now. Barca's doing what it needs to do on the medium tyres. He's still got another 10 laps to do on them. So I mean, if he can do that and still keep it to a relative pace, then I think it would have done an incredible job. Vienna's looking pretty nicely in 7th. We think Scott's just sort of biding his time at the moment. You can see a few cars ahead of him. Nightshades is doing a pretty solid job, and the AlphaTauri is reeling in the 2 Ferraris as well. So there's a little bit of a train forming behind Scopefielder. I think Scott might have a little bit of a better chance on this lap because Vienna, I think, has fallen out of the DRS range. But I think it looks like Nightshades is going to make a dart. Oh my goodness, it's tempted to go to the outside. Almost go, well, it does go onto the grass. Scopefielder holds it on for another lap as Cryptox coming out of the hairpin, going to go alongside the other Ferrari. Could have got the move done, and maybe both of them, but he just lost it a little bit.
Unbelievable! Cryptox has made the move. Oh, Nitrogas for 4th place here. But he's still got the DRS. They both got DRS. The 2 Ferraris side beside here. Will Nitro hold on the inside here? This is unbelievable stuff here. I'm going to be careful here because this is just... I'm just on the edge of my seat here. And you just do not know what to expect. This is why we absolutely fantastic racing here from everyone here. So many battles galore here. And with the performance type cars here as well. You just don't know who to pick to win here tonight. And I tell you what, the way it's going, Moreno's driven a magnificent race at the moment, but with Barca on the mediums, as you said earlier here, Harry, he's got to do another 9 laps as well. So that could take him up to 21 laps of the mediums. So hopefully the safety car situation when he was trying to save there should have helped him a little bit. But obviously it would hinder probably about in the last two laps, shall we say.
Yeah, definitely. I think anyone from 2nd place almost down to 9th or 10th, really, you know, you're going to have to make some moves done pretty quickly, but you have got a chance of a podium out there tonight if you keep it clean on penalties. I think Scopefielder's about to be mugged for about the 3rd time this evening down this back straight. That Williams has absolutely no straight line speed whatsoever. He's massively losing down that back straight, and he's lost another position. He's just got to try and keep a cool head and just try and think of, even if he's not on the podium, just try and think of the points. But it's looking really, really close. It's, I think, Nightshades as well in the Ferrari. We know how quick the Ferrari is down the straight on the game. It's a little bit of a sloppy exit out of that last corner. I think Scott, it looks like he might be making a move on Vienna into turn 1. Can't quite close enough. He's been pretty handy into turn 1 tonight, Scott. See if he can go late on the brakes. He's going to look to the outside and just a little nudge round to the apex, but he can't quite get the move done this lap.
He was saying to Vienna, look mate, I am here, let me through. Oh, he just heard me. He's just heard me saying he's trying to make the move on the inside there, and that's what happened. But the best move, Roy Boy's trying to make the move here on Vienna here. The 2 wide here, they go side by side here. Oh, a little bit of wheel banging moment there, and they go round on turn. Oh, this is unbelievable stuff here. They're still going side by side here. Vienna and Roy Boy. Vienna will have the inside line here. I tell you what. Oh, will the real Roy Boy please stand up here? He won't, because they're going side by side here with Vienna here. They're still side by side here. You can't. There's a bit of wheel banging moment there, but will you guys pick up positions here? Please pick a position here. Oh, this is what I love about the helicopter view here, because you can see the overhead here. And now the McLaren here, Jim Laguna is trying to make the move here. Will he try and mug Roy Boy Vienna here, moving up to 8th place here. Jim is moving up to 9th. I tell you what, Harry, I'm going to let you have a carry on here because my voice is gone.
Well, Vienna's had a bit of a shocking lap, and he's coming into the pit lane. I don't know if he's got any damage or his tyres are just dead at this point. But he's coming into the pit lane, so he's clearly had enough of that fight. Scott would be relieved he's finally up into P7. Nitrogas is almost pushing Scopefielder around the first couple of turns. He's got to be careful. He's sort of barging his way through. Scope's held onto it. There's lucky that didn't end up into a spin. I found that one out the hard way on Monday night. He's got to be careful as well, because Nightshades is just all over the back of him as well. Of course, Scott will be licking his lips at this battle as well. Nitrogas having a little look to the outside. I'm really surprised by how much Scopefield is struggling in these dry conditions. It really shows how poor the Williams is round here, because Cryptox is completely driven away from him, and Cryptox only gets second behind Niels Barca now, so Cryptox really can move into a second position, I think, really very soon. I think if he keeps it nice and cut tidy, he will very quickly inherit second position.
He will, I guarantee you. He will. Oh my days! Nightshades, we've both seen that synchronously at that point there in time there. We need to do that more often there, Harry, there as well. But like I said, Cryptox is the one to watch here. With with about 7 laps remaining here. And with the 5.5 seconds of a gap in between first and third, do not write Cryptox off. Do not write him off just yet here. But I tell you what, you do not need to write off here between, like I said, Scope. Nitrogash was, I thought Nitrogash was going to try and make a move there on Scope here for 4th place here. I just saw him try and go around the outside there, but does not work like that there. But I tell you what here, Harry, it's just unbelievable stuff. And you've just got some news there. What's happened there, Harry?
Well, I think if ever there's an advert of how quickly Barca's medium tyres are falling off, Cryptox was about a second, 1.2 seconds behind after the first sector. He was literally pushing Barca over the line by the end of the lap. So I think Barca is losing very quickly a lot of time, and I would expect them to get pretty dramatically a lot worse. This is sort of the crunch time for him on those medium tyres. I know Scope's defending pretty hard and losing a lot of time trying to keep the cars behind him. But if he can try and keep them behind and just try and focus a little bit, he's still got another chance of getting back onto the podium yet, because Barca is really, really struggling.
Absolutely. This is the point, as I said earlier, this is the point now of the tyre wear that will be gone. Absolutely gone. Absolutely madness stuff here as well. But this is where the heart should be risen to life here with the warmth of the tyres as well. I mean, you just don't know what to expect back here as well. We've got this battle galore here for 2nd and 3rd as well, but also got the battle between 4th and possibly 10th, sorry, between 4th and 9th, sorry. There's so many battles here as well, but with Cryptox going to try and make the move here on Barca here on the DRS straight here as well. Barca will have to try and defend. He's going to be on the racing line here as well. Will Cryptox will have to try and make the move on the inside line here as well, and he's trying to go side by side here, and there's going on the hairpin moment there, and it looks like he's just made the move perfectly there from Cryptox. Oh, the German has done absolutely brilliant move there as well. And I'll tell you what, Scope's made the move here on Nitrogash here, Harry.
Yeah, there's a firm defence from Scope Builder, just edging him out on the exit of turn 14. But guess who's there to take advantage? Scott Buckett's going to try and go 2 wide, and it's going to be, oh my goodness, it was now 3 wide into turn 1. I think Scott's just got the move done. Void Boy's going to follow him home. I think he's side by side with Scope Builder into the apex of turn 2. They're going to go back now into the left. As Void Boy's lost it, and he's made a contact, oh, the Nightshade, sorry, has made contact, I think, with the back of Nitro, and he's gone around. Yeah,
I just saw a glimpse of that as well. I don't know if there was not enough room at that point in time there, but we had a 3 wide situation, and that's what we absolutely loved about there as well. 2 wide, 3 wide. Could we see a 4 wide situation? We nearly saw it actually at turn 1 at that point there as well. But we're on lap 24-28 of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. Live exclusive on the YouTube channel here with myself, Malk, and a special guest here, Harry. Harry, sorry, not Harry. Harry as well. I pronounce it without the H here as well. So Harry's done a brilliant job, as always, in the comms box so far in the Performance League. With 5 laps remaining here. 5 laps remaining here. Who will try and get into the top 3 here? At the moment here, it looks like dead certain there for Moreno, unless if you know if he's got any penalties galore here. Harry.
I don't believe he has. I certainly have a check before. It looks like we're going to see Scopefield, even though he's got DRS on Scott, he's still struggling down that back straight. As this time, Roy Boy makes a good move on him. Scope went as late on the brakes as he could possibly dare, but he wasn't late enough. He's still been overtaken. He's dropped down into P6. Scott 3.4 seconds behind Niels Barca, who's dropped another 1.7 seconds off Cryptox. So I think the top 2 looking like they might have checked out, minus any penalties, as long as they keep it clean. Scott, if he's got any tyre wear left, he should be okay. I know he was struggling with tyre wear in that Haas. He has got much fresher tyres than the guys in front of him, so he should be able to close in that gap a little bit. He's going to have to make up a second a lap if he wants to get onto that podium. We'll have to wait and see. But he's going to have a bit of a hard time, because Roy Boy's looked incredibly feisty tonight. He's now all over the back of him.
Absolutely, he's done a brilliant job here, Roy Boy, to be fair, and you're rightly so there. But the best battle I have seen tonight here was Vienna and Scott throughout the race itself, because those 2 drivers, the same numbers, same car allocated team as well, and just couldn't get these 2 drivers. We just couldn't get off each other at that point in time. But also, from Scott's point of view, he's trying to push on as much as possible here, and he's trying to keep that momentum going here. And it looks like Roy Boy is trying to wheel him in with the fishing rod here to try and pull him away, get him away, try and close in, sorry, into 4th place here as well. Absolutely manic stuff here as well. We're on lap 25-28 here, and it looks like the McLaren now, Jim the Gooner, who's done a brilliant race so far against Scope. He nearly try and make the move here. Moreno's in the lead in 1st place. Cryptox is in 2nd. Barca is in 3rd. Scott is in 4th. Roy Boy, live exclusive, watching him in 5th place. Scope in 6th. Jim in 7th. O'Stephen in 8th. Matty in 9th. Nitrogash is in 10th. Nightshades is in 11th. Cliffy 12th. Volcanus Prime is in 13th, Mike is in 14th, Hellstone 15th, and Vienna is in 16th place. Andrew Spence, Colony Y2141, and Sab are the only casualties of the DNFs so far in this race. And I tell you what, you don't know which one to pick as your best ever move here, Harry.
No, it's a great overtaking. I can't believe how much time Skepta was doing down the straight, because Jim Goomer almost got him, despite Skepta having DRS, and they weren't able on this lap, so it could be another tough lap for Scopefield. Stephen's making a little bit of progress now through the field as well. He's going to try and get himself quite comfortably inside the top 10 into P8. I've also just had a check on NYA Matty, who of course let's not forget was sort of our net race leader heading into the most recent safety car spell. Decided to pit and gamble onto the medium tyres. It hasn't really worked as well as he would have liked, sadly for him. He's fallen down to 9th place, and I don't think he's really going to get any more than that. I think his medium tyres would have gone off quite drastically by this point, and I think 9th is really the best he can do, unless the driver kind of got any penalties as such. Scott has brought down the gap quite nicely to Barca, now just 2 seconds flat, so if he can just try and defend from Roy Boy, but Roy Boy doesn't look patient at all, does he? Because he's going to look to the outside line into turn 14, come very close as Jim Lagoon has got past Scopefielder as Scott defends to the inside line nicely, but Roy Boy's going to be very close coming into to the left-hander of turn 16 at 90-degree left, hammers over the curb. Has he got any battery left? He's got plenty. He's using the overtake button. Scott's charging his down this home straight, and you can see Neil's Barca just up the road, but Roy Boy's going to try and fancy his chances around the outside, looking after his tyres clearly quite nicely, the AlphaTauri driver, because he feels like he's got the grip. Scott just squirms down the throttle and just about holds on to 4th place so far. I think the squabble could cost them 3rd place, but it's a very, very good battle at least.
Absolutely, and that's what we'd love to see on the penultimate lap and the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League as well. And I'll tell you what, it's been an absolute cracker, and it looked like he nearly lost it there, Roy Boy, from the back end there as well. I'm just having a quick glance at some of the drivers here. Scope, who had a great start of the race here, and he looks like they're trying to push on here, but Roy Boy's trying to push on Scott here for 4th place here as well. And I tell you what, while this battle's galore here for 4th and 5th, we've also got the battle between 7th and also 9th place here. So do not go away here, guys. Do not change the channel. You are watching the most absolutely fantastic racing here at the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League as well. So Roy Boy's going to try and have the DRS straight here, going down the straight here as well. But Moreno's coming up to passing the hairpin corner there as well. And Roy Boy's trying to make the move here, and Scott here trying to go on the inside line here, and he does make the move here to 4th place. So he's going to have a one last chance saloon here. If he wants to try and get Niels Barca, he needs to drive the best ever lap here at China to try and catch up to Barca in 3rd place, unless Barca has got a penalty, which we have not seen during the race here tonight here, Harry.
No, I've just checked his race director just a lap ago. He's on 2 warnings, so as long as he keeps it nice and tidy on this last lap, he should be alright. So sadly for Scopefield, it's been same old. He's been passed on that back strike this time by Stephen, and Stephen's had a very nice second half of this race. He really has. He's got himself up into P7, and who knows if Jim Laguna makes a mistake, he could even find himself on another position at the end. He's got himself a time penalty. He's staying dead last at the moment, so he shouldn't have any worries. But Matty and Scopefield, these two, of course, the most recent safety car battle, were fighting for the lead. They're now going to be fighting on the last lap for 8th and 9th. So contrasting, well, not contrasting, quite similar rotten bit of luck the second half of the race after such a brilliant first half of the race from these two. But I think fair play to Moreno. He's been absolutely sensational. As soon as it went to dry, he's been absolutely on another league. I think Cryptox, as you rightly say, could never write him off. He's done a very good job, and I think Barca is going to be just about get away with it as long as he keeps it calm, because he's just about got a second gap to the car behind, but he's really struggling actually around turn 13th. It's going to be tight. I think he might just get away with it.
Might just to get away with it here, but we'll try and catch up to Moreno here, who's coming up to the final corner now, and he has just won the Chinese Grand Prix. So well done to him, Moreno. You do a magnificent drive here as well. And Cryptox, the German, has done a brilliant job here for second place here. And as you rightly said there, Harry, it's going to be close here for third, fourth and fifth place here. I'll tell you what, Barca, brilliant job. Just hold on with those mini tyres. We was a bit worried that he wasn't going to last that long here, but fair play to him. Roy Boy finishes in 4th, Scott finishes in 5th, Schofield in 6th, Jim the Gunner in 7th, Matty in 8th, O'Stephen in 9th, Nightshades is in 10th, Cliffy, the Driver Championship leader, in 11th place, will lose massively points here on this race here. Nitro Gash is in 12th, Volcanoes Prime in 13th, Hailstone 14th, Mike 15th, and Vienna in 16th place. But we'll go through the classifications again in more depth in a moment or two. But what a cracker race, and the driver of the day is Roy Boy here as well. So Harry will try and invite the guys into the commentators box in a moment or two, so we're going to get Moreno, Cryptox and also Niels Barca in a moment or two to hear their thoughts of their win, the win, and also finishing in the podiums here tonight. But it'll be an absolutely fantastic job from all drivers here, because it was just one hell of a race from everyone's point of view. But we'll go through the classification, and then we're going to talk about to the three drivers once they come in for their thoughts of the race itself. But if you like what you see and you thought it was a cracker of a race, why don't you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel for all the live races here as well. We also got the XBOX League on the Twitch channel as well, but also we've got the PC League on the Wednesday nights at 8 PM as well. But also the Xbox is on the Sundays and on the Tuesday nights as well on the Twitch channel as well. But that is fantastic stuff there as well. So here's the race classification for the Chinese Grand Prix for the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. You've got Moreno in 1st, Cryptox is in 2nd, Niels Barca in 3rd, Roy Boy 4th, Scott 5th, Scope 6th, Jim 7th, Matty 8th, O'Stephen 9th, Nightshades 10th, Cliffy 11th, Nightgash 12th, Volcanoes Prime 13th, Hailstone had the fastest up the race, well done to in 14th place, Mike 15th, Vienna 16th, Aaron J. Spence, Colin EY2141 and Sab have all had the DNFs during that race tonight. So while Harry, I tell you what, it's just, I'm losing the plot here with all the naming conventions here. Sorry about that, Harry. With that, it was just action-packed, wasn't it, mate? Wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I think from start to finish, and I think we really did get the sort of prime conditions really for a great motor race. I think obviously the wet to dry really made it interesting. A couple of safety cars thrown in there, different leaders at different point. Like we said, Schofield and Matty sort of dominated the first half. But the second half, it couldn't really been any different. I'm just trying to get these top three in as soon as I can. Also just having to add to these guys and then inviting them in very soon. But yeah, I think the best driver won today. I think Moreno, as you said, in the dry conditions, really made the most of the opportunity. Got the strategic call, absolutely spot on. I think Cryptox did a fantastic job in the Ferrari as well. And Barca, you know, I personally thought he made a completely wrong decision going onto those medium tyres, but he absolutely proved me wrong. And I think he proved quite a lot of people wrong watching, because he's got a podium out of it and he's had a fantastic race. So well done to him. Yeah,
absolutely fantastic stuff there as well from everyone's point of view as well. And obviously next week is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, so that will be a bit of a classic race for definitely long straights galore here. But we're going to have new allocations here for the next two races. So next week we will have the full qualifying in a moment in next week's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So it'll be good to see what car allocations these guys have got here as well. So we're just waiting for Moreno, Cryptox and Niels Barca to join in the commentators box. Once they've joined in, we're going to talk through their thoughts of the race itself. But from everyone's point of view, it was just, if you're in the chat here tonight, guys, and you thought, what's your thoughts of the race? What was your best moments? What was your what was the most interesting point there of the race tonight? Would you have done a different strategy here? Would you have done something different as well? But yeah, Tim, who's just joined, who's been in the chat box here, he says Moreno will win Abu Dhabi as well. Mr. Potato says hell yeah as well. We've just got Moreno who's just joined in as well, and I believe Cryptox has joined and also I believe Barca's joined as well. So before you join, guys, can you please make sure allow voice to be shared is set to always allow on the party settings. If you go to the party settings, there's an option called allow voice to be shared. Make sure it's set to always allow. So while the guys are all slowly coming in and ready to go, I'll be talking to Moreno, who's driven a magnificent race, and hear his thoughts from the second safety car and what was his thoughts of trying to get away from the rest of the pack here. Also, Cryptox, who's trying to emulate what he did in F4 last night, but could not do it in first place again. But he did manage to finish in second here tonight. But also Niels Barca on the medium tyres. I'd like to know what his setup was on the medium tyres as well. So that would have been good to see what his thoughts was as well. So guys, are you all set, ready to go?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. So I'll be talking to Moreno first, then Cryptops, and then Barca. Moreno, how you doing, mate? You alright?
I'm doing pretty good.
Pretty good? I'm sure you'd be absolutely ecstatic at winning the Chinese Grand Prix. So tell us about your thoughts of obviously from the second safety car situation when it went obviously completely dry. What was your thoughts then? Was you just trying to keep it cool and calm during the race?
Yeah, in the start I went on the hard tires. I got held up a little bit, lost one position because my teammate went in the pits before me because obviously he was leading the race at that time. But it worked out quite fine. I had a lot of pace today, and the Renault is just amazing on the straight and overtook the first two guys pretty easily. And after that, I just watched after my tires. I think I had 81% on my hards at the end, so it was pretty scary, but it worked out pretty good in the end. Yeah,
you did well. It's like you're living on the edge of your seat moment now with the tyre wear situations as well. But I'm sure you're going to have a drink or something to celebrate after that tonight. And from that point of view there, Moreno, this will be a massive boost for yourself in the Drivers' Championship here. So I think you might be the new leader. I might get that wrong, but you have definitely got decent points against Cliffy here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure I'm the leader. I was 2 points behind Cliffy before this race. I'm also leading the Constructors' Championship with Nightshade, so everything is working pretty awesome at the moment.
Absolutely. Do you think you're going to keep that position now, or do you think it's too early to say after 4 races at Invictus?
I think it's too early to say. The next few races I'm probably going to get a pretty bad car and just hope to get some points here and there in whatever car I get. Cliffy is probably going to get a better car than the Williams, so hoping he won't catch up too much. And
have to wait and see what happens here. But a quick question about Abu Dhabi for next week. What's your thoughts of the track and what your expectations, depending on what car you would pick? But just saying, if you had an equal car, shall we say, what's your pace like around Abu Dhabi?
I think Abu Dhabi is a pretty good track. There's a lot of good overtaking opportunities, obviously, with the 2 long straights and a pretty tricky third sector, but I think the track suits me pretty well, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Absolutely, and I wish you all the very best of luck next week. Well done for tonight. You've done a brilliant job. You've surplused in the Drivers' Championship as well, so it'd be good to see if you can keep that momentum going in the Drivers' Championship as well as the Constructors as well. So well done for tonight, Bruno. You can stay if you want, or you can shoot off. It's up to you, but thank you very much for joining tonight, mate. Well done.
Cheers.
Cryptox, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, doing fine.
Good to be back in the podium here again after what happened in F4 last night.
Yeah, it's kind of unexpected, but yeah, I'm happy.
Absolutely. Would you try and emulate what you did? For the guys who've not watched the F4, he went from the wets to dry. And he did win the race, beating against me in last night's race. But did you try and emulate it, the similarity, or was it a bit too much against Moreno tonight?
I think it was too much against him, because obviously he was very much faster than me. He gave it absolutely everything. Cheers to him. But it was just too good to be true, you know, everything being the same, the starting position being almost the same, the weather conditions and everything. It was too good to be true.
Absolutely, absolutely. But from your point of view, Cryptox, so I'd like to know where that pace is coming from as well, because I'm sure this is one of your best tracks, surely. Would you agree?
Yeah, I had some success in China in the last few years as well. But I don't know where this is coming from. It's like a track that suits me very well, but I'm pretty sure that this pace... I'm trying to emulate it on other tracks, but I'm pretty sure I can't do it there as much as here. But we'll see how the season goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, Cryptox. And you had a great battle there with Nitrogash as well at the earlier end there as well, and I'm sure it was during the race itself. But was there a great battle that you noticed during your time tonight?
You mean the battle with Nitrogash during the race there?
Or anyone. What was your best battle? Yeah, what was your best battle?
Let me think real quick. I think it was the fight... Nah. I think it was actually the fight with Nitrogash, because like it was very close. We had like a couple side-by-side moments which were very enjoyable, especially that into turn 1. And yeah, looking forward to racing him again.
Absolutely. Just a quick one about Abu Dhabi. What's your thoughts of what's your expectations for the race at Abu Dhabi next week?
I expect to get a car that's slower than the Ferrari, but nevertheless I think that I can get a good result, because as long as I work hard, everything is possible.
Brilliant stuff. Well done for tonight, Cryptox. You did a brilliant job getting podium again in second successive stuff in the two leagues as well, but also you did a brilliant job from your side's point of view here tonight in the Performance League here. And I wish you all the very best luck at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. You can stay if you want, or you can shoot off. It's up to you. But thank you very much for joining tonight, Cryptox.
Thank you. Cheers.
Barca, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Really good. Feeling really good.
Because
my tire didn't blow, so all happy with me.
I'm sure me and Harry was going to mention about the tyre wear, because we was worried thinking that the tyres was going to go, because obviously the tyre wear was only up to 17 laps. So surely you would have been on 90 or 95% surely with those tyre wear in that race.
Was 82% or something like that.
82.
Front left. Yeah.
I bet he was lucky that it didn't. Obviously, you said he didn't blow off.
I was praying. Last lap, I was just praying that it won't blow.
You did. To be fair, you kept the tyre wear perfectly there. So I need to get you set up after all this tonight. So we have to wait and see what happens here. But from your point of view here, Barca, did you expect to get a podium here tonight, or was you just hoping to get a top half finish?
I pitted for the mediums because I knew that I didn't have the pace to compete. So I thought I'll do something different, put on the mediums except for the hards, because everyone was pitting for hards. So I thought I'll do something different, and it worked out.
Yeah, absolutely, boss. We was worried, thinking we thought you was going to pit when everyone was pitting for the second safety car as well. But you gambled, you kept the medium tyres going, and I bet you was thinking you just don't want to race around China after that anymore with that.
If my tire blew, I would definitely be really sad.
Oh, don't say that. You've got a podium. That's what you love about here at Invictus. You've got an absolute brilliant podium here, driven around here as well. And we've got Abu Dhabi next week, obviously. What's your thoughts from your quick overview of Abu Dhabi?
I think it's a fun track, but I'm not really that good at it.
Oh, okay. We'll have to wait and see what happens from your side there, Barca, to see if you can try and turn things. This is what I love about it, Harry, as well. When you got like people say, "Oh, it's not my favourite track," but you do well that's what I love about that situation. But could it be that situation here, Barca? We'll have to find out from your point of view as well. But Barca, well done for finishing third, and thank the medium tyres for not blowing it up massively as well. So well done for tonight, mate. You can stay if you want. We can shoot off. It's up to you. But thank you very much for joining tonight, Barca.
Thank you very much.
Nice one. So I'd like to thank Moreno, Cryptox, and Barca for their thoughts of the race tonight. And Harry, just a quick final overview from your debut, shall we say, of the Performance League with me tonight. What's your thoughts of the race, in your own words?
Well, I think it definitely showed. I think we all knew how competitive and how close the racing always is and realistic. But I think this added rule this season of the reverse grids every other week, I think really has brought another light to entertainment. I think, like I said, the weather was perfect as well. The safety car timings were great, and the last 10, 12 laps was just unbelievable. We've been seeing so many guys fighting. Like I said, I think it was down from anyone from seconds, pretty much down to the 10th. Really could have had a chance of getting onto the podium. There's all separated by less than a second at one point. It was really, really great racing. A lot of great clean racing as well, and so some fantastic drives out there. I think obviously the top three all deserve credit. Unbelievable drives. I think Roy Boy, I think he went from 15th, I think maybe 16th, and then AlphaTauri, as an F2 driver, he's been on holiday. He missed the first 3 rounds of F2 season. He came in for the first time on Tuesday night, and he looked right on the pace, right from the word go. And tonight, he didn't get his rewards on Tuesday, but tonight, 16th, I think it was, to 4th place, and an AlphaTauri is unbelievable effort. I think Scott will be pleased he's getting points. Scope can keep his head high, knowing how well he did in the rain. And I think there's some great drives, and I'm sure Cliffy, he's got it home in 11th place or whatever it was. He'll fight for another day, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure. For Cliffy's point of view and everyone else's who've had a terrible race or struggling race, they'll bounce back. I know they'll bounce back. And that's what the fighting drivers will do, obviously. And it's been one hell of a race, and I'll keep that momentum there as well. So thank you to everyone that's watched the stream. I hope you enjoyed it, live exclusive. I'd like to thank you, Harry, for joining me as a special guest in helping out where Tim could not make it tonight due to personal reasons. So, are you going to come back again for another one-off?
I think I might have to. Definitely the next reverse one. I'll have to put my name down.
Is it a yes or hell yes? That's what I'm after. But
I'll go hell yes.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. So thank you very much, Harry, for everything that you've done tonight. That was some absolute brilliant stuff there as well. Like I said, thank you to everyone that's watched the stream. This was the Invictus Racing League live exclusive at the Chinese Grand Prix. Next week, we're at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix for round 5, which will have the 4 qualifiers. So make sure you tune in really early at 7:45 to make sure you don't miss out to see who will try and get into the top 10 after Q3. But at this situation here, Moreno, who is the new leader of the Performance League and also part of the constructors as well. So cheers for that, guys. I'll see you all next week. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.